Hey, everybody. Welcome to Elite Entrepreneurs and Empire Builders Facebook group. You're live with Fran Opps. I am your CEO and founder, Jared. Man, I am so pumped about today. I just put that in the chat. And by the way, as we get into this conversation, use that chat. Write your questions, write your comments in there. Find the emoji with the flexing arm and put that in there or something, because this is going to be, I'm so pumped for this one. It's going to be a good one. We are just a couple weeks away from the holiday season. Is right around the corner. Thanksgiving's coming up. If you're watching this live with us right now or another time, we're getting into that season where it's all about stuff your face and your stomach with as much food as possible. And so many people just kind of throw things out the window, especially their health and fitness. And so today, it's such a heavy subject on my heart and in my mind. I care deeply about those kind of things. So I'm excited, genuinely excited about what this interview is about today. We get to bring on one of the most exciting brands in our portfolio of about 350 brands, USA Ninja Challenge. USA Ninja Challenge is in the youth health and fitness space. It is the leading youth ninja business franchise in the industry today. And they provide so many things, from supportive coaching to providing a safe environment for kids to be able to run, jump, climb, and swing. It is especially comparatively to other things out there, this is such a low startup cost, low barrier of entry to get into. And they're doing some exciting things too. Like now they're sending kids to go compete on America Ninja Warrior. I mean, there's just so much that's incredible about this brand. And we have a little change of plans. I was going to bring on the CEO himself, Richard Knight, but he messaged last night and he goes, "Hey, I'm not feeling the greatest. My voice, I'm losing it, and I want to be able to speak. And so I need someone who can do that and do that well and clearly." So he brought on his number one guy, Josh. And I apologize if I'm not saying this correctly, but I think it's Faber, something like that. Josh Faber. I'm excited to bring him on, man. He is their franchise development director and knows everything there is to know about this brand. So we're going to unpack it with you. So feel free to put your questions in there as we go, whatever it might look like, whether it's about the cost or employees or whatever it's going to look like. Put those in there. We'll make sure we get those answered to Josh himself, because he's got a pretty crazy story. He actually went to school for business, so he knows the space well. And then he actually went into student ministry, youth ministry for several years, which for some of you is like, what does that even mean? I don't even know what that is. I get it. I understand it better than most, because as you guys know from previous lives, my original career was in vocational ministry. I was 12 years as a pastor at different capacities, some of that as a student ministry director too. And so I get it, man. So this is going to be fun. Two guys that care about students, care about youth, care about fitness. He's got way better hair than I do, but even still, we're kindred spirits in a lot of ways. Excited about this one. He's a content creator, much like myself. And so this one is going to be one of the best ones we do. I promise you'll enjoy it. So without further ado, this is USA Ninja Challenge with Fran Opps Live. Josh, my man.
Wow, well done.
Welcome, dude.
Good intro. I love it. I saw the picture of Richard on the start, and I'm like, well, yeah. I didn't get you a picture of me on time, but
yeah, you know,
we'll be all right.
It and then it takes a little bit to change it out. I was like, whatever. We'll just
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Good. But welcome, dude. Welcome to
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on,
group, man. I'm so pumped.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm excited.
So let's dive in. They're not here to hear me babble. They're
I'm here to hear you babble. I was enjoying it. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, at least someone was, but no, it's good, man. I'm excited about this one. Since I first started getting into the franchising space and consulting, helping people find the right fit for them, the first time I came across USA Ninja Challenge, I was like, man, there's something special about this one. So why don't you unpack for us a little bit about, just real briefly, what the brand is, because there's going to be some people listening right now that they've never heard of it. So what is the brand and what does it do?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously I could talk a really long time about it, but in simple terms, in short, USA Ninja Challenge was built to be the best possible programming for kids in the United States of America. Our kids, we got the largest obesity rates in our kids in our nation's history. They're not playing school sports anymore. The reduction in the amount of kids playing it. If you've got kids and you try to play the club sports, it's more expensive than it's ever been.
Right.
And then with our phones, right, like computers and all of that, our kids are not getting active. And then what happens when our kids don't get active and we don't play sports? We also get the social. Yeah. It's the eye contact. It's the communication skills. Yeah. And so for us, that is our passion. All across the United States of America, we wanted to create the best possible programming for kids 2 to 17 and make sure that we had a business model that could be long-term, right? If we wanted to be there with kids, we got to be there in 10 years with those kids, in 20 years with those kids, not just in 2. So
so it's spot on. I got three little kids myself, and we're always trying to talk to them and figure out what to get them involved with. And there's for a couple of them, there's so much like anxiety about it, the idea of going out and being with people, and some of that I think largely comes from them being raised in a COVID world.
Yes, it's a huge effect. The kids, not getting those social spaces, and then what has happened to those social spaces. I'm sure you've got those kids. Kids are scared to go play a sport they love because by 10 years old, if you're not God's gift to whatever sport and trying to play in college, like there's such a competitive line that I don't think is that helpful. I also, my background, I played college soccer, Division II college soccer. My dad was a professional athlete in 2 different sports, and I'm a high school basketball coach and a high school soccer coach. So the traditional sports space is actually where I come from. So I know this world well, but it's so challenging for the kids and it breaks my heart, but that's why we got to create better options for them.
Yeah, right. And there's so much to be learned about life and themselves from physical fitness activities and things like USA Ninja, which is
leadership,
what they provide.
Yep. Absolutely.
Great. That's so good. So tell us a little bit about the brand story then. When did it start and how did it get to where it is today?
So before we were a franchise, it really started with an idea. Our 2 co-founders, Richard Knight, Dale Grant, together had been friends for a long time. They came from, Richard came from a business background, 35 plus years, just an incredible history of working in the business space. Dale, same thing, an incredible history working in the gymnastics space, starting and opening multiple gymnastics gyms all across the country. And with the 2 of them, they kind of had some unique backgrounds. And they noticed a couple of things that we just talked about starting, right? They noticed a couple of the issues with kids not having the options they need to get involved, to get fit. And actually, they were sitting together at a little group breakfast, a little networking event, and a friend of theirs sent them a video of a GoPro attached to their son's chest, doing a backyard like obstacle course.
Oh, awesome! And
they were sitting together, and they were like, "Wait a second, like." American Ninja Warrior, right? Like maybe we could do something with this. So that's where it started. 11 years ago, it started with an idea. And there was a lot of expertise from both sides as they brought their minds together and partnered. Fast forward a few years, we opened up our first gym. It blew up. They needed to go into a new location because it was so large. The plan wasn't to franchise right away. The plan was to open up like about 10 gyms and then go into franchising. But we had some friends of the organization at the time that basically called Richard and Dale daily, weekly for like 6 months. They're like, give us a gym, please. So we franchised a little early. That was about 7 years ago. And now today we're up to 34 open locations, another 35 in the process of opening. And then we're coming up on the cusp of what 2025 is going to be. We'll get into it a little bit as we get into this call, some of the exciting news, but 2025 is going to be a big year.
Yeah, dude. Exciting. So 35 on the way. That's awesome. I didn't realize it was already that developed too. I thought you were just like still under 10. So that's incredible. So that's good news. Like, yes, it's an emerging brand, but it's not like you're the first one or first 10 franchisees.
Yes.
There's already a family surrounding this brand.
And the best part, when we're talking about franchising here, right? And so the great piece of that is, we've had times when we first started, we opened that first gym to refine the model and get the model into a position where it can not just survive, but flourish in markets all across the US. We just opened up California in Q4 of last year. As we made I'm out, by the way, if you don't know, I'm in New Hampshire. Our first gym opened out here in New Hampshire, so the Northeast.
That's great.
We moved all the way down across. We were out on the West Coast now, and we got our first gym lease signed out in California. We're very, very excited. We got a few more. I got about 4 more in development in California. It's exciting.
Wow, that's incredible success. What kind of owners are you guys looking for? Are they going to be full-time owner operators? Is this an executive kind of thing? What are you looking for?
Yeah, love that. That's a great question. There's 2 things I always talk about here. And the first one is, we have owner operators, owner managers, semi-absentee. Really, we have a background of owners that is very, very broad. You know, I think in a lot of the franchise models, in a lot of the spaces, no, they don't have to be ninjas. Okay. That's a great question. You know, in a lot of the franchises, you generally kind of tighten into a specific type that will get involved in it. And for us, it really comes down to my second point that I'm about to talk about. But we have a wide variety of owners from both business backgrounds, teaching backgrounds, corporate tax attorneys, veterans, really anything that has, and this is my second point, a passion for kids. So the reality is, and we got a little visitor up here.
Oh, look at that. You got a little ninja behind you there.
She's not supposed to be over here. So if she goes on the next one, I'm going to be talking to her. But the reality is this, and I just finished up a show this past week and was talking about this. There's 2 things, you know, when it comes to a passion for kids. I can't pay people to care about kids. I can't coach people to care about kids. It's a prerequisite that we need to have. And so when you ask me the type of owner, the first and foremost piece is moms, dads in the community, people in the community who are passionate about the next generation. Because that's the piece that I can't train and I can't teach. We've got entrepreneur training. We've got coaching training. We've got ownership training. We have all of that built into our system. Yeah. But I can't train you to care about kids.
Yeah, that's so true. Tell us a bit about that training. That's hilarious. I was not ready for that. That was so good.
Yeah.
Since you already mentioned it, tell us a little bit about that training. What does training look like for someone coming into this?
Absolutely. So when we go through the process, let's say, you know, we go through our whole kind of education process, we get to the point where we go to a contract and we're going to open a location in your area. We're going to go into a development search of finding that location. We're going to help them, we're going to work with a commercial broker. We're going to help them find the right location for their gym. Once we find that location, it's a 13-week build-out process. In 13 weeks, those gym doors are going to open. And in those 13 weeks, there's a bunch of things that are going to happen. 3 of those weeks will include training. And so one of them is a remote training that is done through Don Shin, who you may know, Jared. Don Shin is huge in the BAI space. He is a wonderful mentor to me, actually taught me when I first entered into the franchise space. Both him and Richard really trained me in this space. But we do an entrepreneurship training with Don, and that's actually over the course of weeks, and it's online. And then we do an in-person lead trainer certification and ownership training to really help the owners both have a grasp on how to run the business and then a grasp on how to coach the kids, whether or not they're going to be the main coach, right? We might have a semi-absentee owner bringing on somebody that is going to be their lead trainer, but man, it's still so important to have those owners trained so they know what they're looking for. Because even from a semi-absentee standpoint, Jared, we still ask all of our owners to be the face of their business. And it really comes down to what we're positioning ourselves as. You know, we are we're the largest ninja franchise in the US, but we don't want to position ourselves like that. We're not trying to be big business, big, give us your kids, give us your money. That's not who we're trying to be. We're trying to be local, moms and dads in the community. And so making sure our owners are trained and passionate about the sport is huge.
Yeah, that's awesome. What does the what was I was going to ask about? I don't know. Tell us about the investment and what this. Oh, that's what I was going to ask. Is multi-unit? Do you have any current owners that are currently multi-unit, or since you only have 34, but you already do, huh? Yeah.
So we absolutely. In the first couple of years, of course, you're working on the model. So multi-unit ownership wasn't as prominent right away. Sure. But I'd say in the last 2 years, especially as I came on the team and we've really developed the sales space, we've got a great team developing on the operations side, really making sure that we're growing at the right pace. Multi-unit ownership has become much more common for us, I'd say, in the last 2-3 years. Got to be a third of our owners and maybe more that are multi-unit owners. Yeah.
Good. Okay. So that's already built into who you are as a
Absolutely.
company too. So
Yep.
that's great for you empire builders are looking for good opportunities.
Yeah, because you can really, I mean,
Yeah.
it's such an awesome, way to get kids moving. It's such an awesome model. Ninja itself
Right.
as a sport is so fun. And being able to, as you said, legacy builders, people that want to walk into these spaces and corner
Yeah.
a market, right?
Yeah.
Because I tell you this, anytime we go into a new city, a new town, new state, I open one gym. The second those gym doors open, I'm getting a call. I'm getting
Oh,
calls
yeah.
from family. Oh, yeah. Always, always,
For sure.
always,
Well,
always.
that's how parents will
Yep.
spend all the money in the world for their kids to have the best opportunities.
Yep.
Right. And so
Well,
you got to look at how consumers spend their money. They will
yeah.
spend it on their kids because
And
they want them to
entrepreneurs
succeed.
see it, and because
Yeah.
that's the beautiful thing about the franchising space, because it is so interpersonal, right? And so you can
Yeah.
see something and be like, I want to do that. And so when we open in a new location, I'm getting calls from parents in community or local communities that are like, hey, I went to this birthday party, I want a gym. Like, can I open a gym?
That's
You know what I
awesome.
mean? Because it's such a fun space to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you tell them no because there's already an owner in their territory?
Well, so it depends on where they're looking, of course. So
Yeah.
that's actually a great question of, how do we do locations?
Right.
So we do 100,000 population circles around an area. Now, I
Okay.
don't need 100,000 people in an area to open a gym. We opened a gym in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and the local area is about 20,000 people, and then some communities in the outside that feed into it. The reason we do 100,000 is because we don't want any of our gyms to cannibalize. It's really great to have gyms within driving distance
Mhm.
for competitions and events that you can do together to let
Oh,
kids
yeah.
get in, competitive settings, and it's really fantastic from that standpoint. But we do those population circles to make sure that our gyms aren't competing with each other. But
Yeah.
when a parent will give me a call about a location, I'll be like, all right, well, hey, here's the available territories around out here. Are you interested in those areas? That's how we go about it.
Yeah, that's good. What is the investment cost just for a single
Yeah.
unit? If someone was
Yeah.
just interested in just a single unit, what would that look like?
Yeah, single unit is, if you look at our FDD, it's going to be about $350 to $450. We just added California in Q4 of last year, so when you look at the FDD, it's up to $550 now. You can thank California for that. So if we're looking at California and like your New York propers, we're going to be towards the high side of that. But yeah, $350, let's say top end $550. And that includes everything. We got 3 months of operating capital built into that. A really great piece when it comes to financial side. We've got almost, of all of our openings, 34 gyms, almost all of them have gone cash flow positive in 3 months or less. Over 60% of our gyms have gone cash flow.
Whoa. Slow down. Say that again. Say that for the people in the back.
So in 34 gym openings that we currently have, almost all of them have gone cash flow positive in 3 months or less. 60% of our gyms have done it in 30 days or less. I got a handful of gyms that have done it day one, week one.
Wow. With a $500,000 investment, and to see that's incredible. So
yeah, I mean, it really comes down to a few different things, Jared. The first one is we have a great team and a great model. So when it comes to marketing and helping, engage in the PTO and PTA programs in your local community, and those 13 weeks that I talked about as we're building up, we're taking advantage of those times, and we're asking the owners to get face to face with some, local legislation and have these conversations, shake some hands, and be, in the member, a member of that community.
Right.
Get on the mom and pop group, Facebook groups online, right? And communicate in there. And then of course we've got the traditional SEO, search engine optimization stuff, and additional, marketing,
can you share a little bit about that? What does that support then look like for that owner on a couple of different levels?
Support from a marketing standpoint,
from corporate, or just in general, marketing will be a big part of that, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's go back to those 13-week countdown. Again, what is that 13 weeks all about? That 13 weeks, on every Monday, they're going to get an email from our corporate team, mostly CJ heading this out. Shout outs to CJ, who's going to basically give a list of, hey, here's what you're doing this week. Here's what we're doing this week. And here's our goals. And then this is, next week. And then on the next Monday, they're going to get that. And so those 13 weeks, they're fully supported in starting a business. And what this is great for, Jared, is when owners don't have that prior history, and they don't know, maybe they haven't been an entrepreneur and it's their first time to become your own boss, it's the first time entering into the space, which is a beautiful advantage of franchising. Each week they're getting those step-by-step, support on what you got to do. It comes from a marketing standpoint. We're having a conversation of, okay, we're building out the Instagram and the Facebook, and we're engaging on social media. We're teaching about engaging on social media. We got a 37-page booklet of, hey, here's marketing strategies that we're going to use and partake in. And then we're also bringing in some additional kind of teams from a marketing standpoint to help us engage in the larger markets. And it really is an all-encompassing support structure that we have, both in the 13 weeks till growth, but in the ongoing. Our goal is to be with our owners and support our owners, for the next 20, 30 years, as we're going on for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, so good. And it sounds like with what you've already shared too, you probably have a number of different success stories. Do you have any specifically that come to mind that you could share with us?
My goodness.
That painting that picture of the American dream, kind of, so to speak.
I have so many that come to mind. One of my favorite things about this space is, and I'm talking, when I say this space, I mean franchising. One of my favorite parts of my job is I get to have real relationships with owners, potential owners, then future owners in the system, and watching our team, as we are committed to supporting. I told you 34 open gyms, another 35 in the process. Our team is so passionate. We talk about it when we're hanging out in the weekend. We're talking about our owners. We're always thinking, what are the things that we can do to support? And so there's so many names. I don't want to. There's so many, but a couple that came to mind when we talk about multi-unit ownership. We have a great owner in Virginia, Andrea, who I just sent a validation call to the other day. I was just thinking of her. She came into Chesapeake, Virginia, opened her first location, and blew that place out. And within a single year, opened another location in the same town just across the river. And seeing her step into business entrepreneurship for the first time. I was here. We took her out to dinner when they were up here for training. Meeting her then and there, and first time in the entrepreneurship space, and then watching her absolutely kill it in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Yeah,
her gym was across the street from a Chick-fil-A. So when you're sitting in the line for Chick-fil-A, you're staring at her gym. And so what did she do? She went and had conversations with the Chick-fil-A and said, "Hey, when we do birthday parties, do you want to bring the cow over?" And so the cow comes over for the birthday parties.
How perfect is that?
Yeah, and so here we got a now multi-unit owner who walked into that space, who is so passionate about kids. Seeing her passion for the students, both in her gym, the athletes in her gym, but also for her community. It's so awesome to see owners like that come in and let their passion be the language at which is seen in the community. And I got so many more of those. We talk about quick cash flow positive. I mentioned Sunbury, Pennsylvania. Chris Reese, who's a great owner in Sunbury, Pennsylvania. That at the time was the smallest market we ever went into.
You said 20,000, right? Yeah,
20,000 in his local area, and then he's got some communities that kind of feed into it. But we were a little weary. Maybe this is a little small. But Chris, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's looking for, and he came to us and he said, "Listen, our kids need it. Our kids need it. This community needs it."
There's probably not too many other options like that in that community either. So
absolutely. And he said, "Listen, it's going to work." So we went in. We actually opened the gym in the old gymnasium to their the elementary school that closed down. So it's this gorgeous little space with these big windows.
Restoration. All right.
Yeah. And he went cash flow positive in his first week. And as an owner, in a smaller location where we were like, "Oh, this is our first time in this space." He was so confident. He's so good at what he does. And the great thing about Chris is he's continued to pour into the franchise and the future owners. I mean, this is a guy that has had multiple conversations with owners, validation calls, and just talking about his story. He's a huge member of the community around there. And so it's again, these stories, I could keep going. It's seeing men and women step into entrepreneurship, and be themselves, right? And care for the community that they're in with the passion that they have. It's the best. It's absolute best.
It's incredible. Yeah, that's exciting. Where's the nearest one to? I'm in Des Moines, Iowa.
Des Moines. Well,
where's the nearest one to that?
I'm having some conversations in Iowa right now, actually. But
really?
But we'll keep that.
Okay. So maybe I want to go too
Iowa.
far.
My closest location to Iowa. I'm trying to think. I feel like I got to pull up a map.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. So I
gotta get my
I won't have to wait too long.
I gotta get my geography on point here.
Yeah, I know people from the East Coast and West Coast. Those you watching, it's one of those flyover states for you. It's right in the heartbeat.
Exactly.
And it is the heartbeat of America. It is the motherland. But no, it's all good. But really, at the end of the day, well, I guess I got two questions. One, I want to hear a little bit more about what you guys are doing this year, this coming year. What's 2025 looking like? What are the big goals, exciting stuff coming up? And secondly, too, it comes down to the ROI is what that's going to look like. And so I didn't know, could you unpack a little bit more about what your item 19 might look like or might have to say? And then also let's talk about the goals and where we're headed, where USA Ninja is headed in 2025.
Yeah. So, let me start with, kind of the goals 2025, as you mentioned it when we first hopped on the call. I mentioned we're really excited for 2025. It's really been, the last couple of years as we have grown, as we've moved across to the West Coast and we've, kind of started to create a presence all across the U.S. 2025 is going to be a really, really big year for us for a couple different reasons. The first one is the obvious when it comes to, the product life cycle. When you look at franchising, when you look at those first couple of years, and as idea becomes a reality, and you're in that early adoption phase, right into early majority. We're on that cusp, right, of stepping into that exponential growth of early majority, right? And so that's one of the biggest,
the hockey stick.
Yes, it's one of the biggest times of all business. We're not even talking franchising, of all products, and so it's so huge, and for franchises to get there, it's a really, really big deal. Mm-hmm. And we're on the cusp of it. We're on that curve of it. We can, year after year, there's been some huge growth. And I think the biggest catalyst for 2025, what we're so excited for, is another announcement that came out of the end of last year. And that is that Ninja is an Olympic sport. So in 2028, LA Olympics, it is making its Olympic debut as a part of the modern pentathlon. No longer is equestrian in it. The equestrian is out. Ninja is in. And that has actually made the modern pentathlon grow in size massively, because now countries that previously couldn't compete because equestrian is so expensive, it's so specialized. Mm-hmm. Now it's Ninja. And so tons, a high majority of the countries involved in the Olympics signed up immediately for the modern pentathlon. So very, very exciting. It is on the docket for 2032 as its own event. In New Zealand, Australia, and it's going to be an event in the Junior Olympics as well. So at first we're looking at the space Ninja growing massively, and that's what we want. Everybody in the Ninja space, not just our franchise, not just our gyms, but everybody in this space is a huge, huge deal. And so we've got that. And we're excited to announce last month, we sent 7 of our top athletes to the Olympic training facilities.
Oh, really?
The reason this happened is because we have an ongoing partnership with the USA Pentathlon and Olympic team that we developed last year. And we've been working with them. We ran an exclusive worlds competition amongst all our gyms in the US, where we had the finals out here in New Hampshire. And the top athletes in each age division got to go to the Olympic training facilities to train alongside Olympic athletes and Olympic coaches. For the foreseeable future, this is happening. We are in this space. Olympics are coming.
Incredible.
We're, partnering with the USA Pentathlon and Olympic teams. It is so exciting to see and to kind of garner that space of, the young men and women of the Olympics could possibly be training in our
opportunity for them. And so in any athlete at any USA Ninja Challenge could ideally in the future compete moving forward. That is incredible. What an opportunity.
And it's so
listening too, just so you guys know, I'm actually at the very end of this. Hang on. I know we're wrapping up here, but I'm going to show you a brief summary video of what Josh is talking about, the national competition that they just did for the first time. So I'll share that sneak peek to you.
It's so awesome. Jared, and again, it's great for our gyms. Obviously, we love it, the exclusive, partnership that we have, but I can't say it enough. It's just great for the sport of Ninja. So it's huge. And so as we open gyms across the United States, when there is a big competition like that, more people are going to know what Ninja is. And anytime you watch a big gymnastics competition or the Olympics, what happens to those local gymnastics gyms, right? Their client acquisition goes way up, right? Because people are involved. And so getting to build out the US as the Olympics are coming, it's just going to
Wow.
be a massive 2025, and it's going to be
Yeah.
a huge next 4 years.
Yeah, next 4 years is
Yes,
incredible. Yeah, let alone
absolutely. And then the
2025. That's
explosion
awesome.
after, right? Now Ninja's on the
Yeah.
world stage. Well, it's already on the world stage. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Wow,
The
what an opportunity.
UNAA is,
Yeah.
multiple. We got, I think, like almost 30 countries involved in the UNAA, but still, you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah, what an incredible opportunity. That's so good. Josh, I want to wrap up. I want to give you one last
Yeah.
piece here before we do. Why should, because the truth is USA Ninja Challenge is not the only franchise in this space, right? There's
Yep.
competitors. So why should an elite entrepreneur and
Yeah.
empire builder consider your brand over some of your
Absolutely.
competitors?
Yeah, and I will answer that question as I answer the second question you asked, as we're talking
the
about
ROI,
the numbers, because I think it comes down to the same thing. When I talk about who we are and what we want it to be, I call it a business with a soul. You've gotten a lot of the soul pieces here, right? And when we're talking about the impact that we're trying to make, when I talk about the successes, when I talk about the kids and the impact, that's a huge part of the soul side. But it's really important that we're a business that has long-term impact. So that means the model itself needs to be sound. And so instead of taking the approach that many have taken and many that take in ninja gyms in the US, you really see kind of two major models. The first one is the big mega facilities, the 20, 30,000 square foot gyms that are very large. I find that in those spaces, it is very often hard to keep those gyms consistent, right? When you have a break even of 400 or 500 people in that gym just to cover your costs, and not a retention model, you got trying to garner people on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. We have a very much retention-based model built in a membership 8-to-1 student-to-coach ratio in a smaller footprint, 3,000 to 6,000 square feet. We don't need the retail locations. We got light industrial flex space. We're going to go into kind of the spaces away, 5 minutes away from those main areas.
Yep.
So the cost is taken care of. We're reducing that, and we're running a model that is far more efficient. And so when you look at our item 19, you're going to look at the average, as we came out of the pandemic and increased up into 2022, 2023. By the way, during the pandemic, we didn't lose any gyms. You're looking at our averages being around 310, 315. The thing to remember is we're not talking about a restaurant industry where, where we're talking 10% margins. We're talking a space in which we built a very efficient gym that is doing, I think that, last time I checked, like if you take EBITDA, let's say the EBITDA industry average is anywhere from, I think 8 to 13%, somewhere around there. We're tripling that, we're quadrupling that. Our efficiency, that was the key. Wow. From a business model standpoint, we wanted to make an efficient gym. Let's say the break even of a gym is, you got to get 100 kids in that gym to go cash flow positive. Right. That 101st kid is almost straight profit because the expenses don't scale with it. And so you're building up to 350 kids, 450 kids. And so the reality is, to get involved with USA Ninja Challenge, the reason to do that versus the other models is because first and foremost, it's the goal. It's the niche, kids, 2 to 17. We don't have adults in our gym, and we're not going to put adults in our gym. It's the track record, the success that we've seen in our 34 gyms, like I said. It's the success of the safety and insurance. We have an incredible, we have the best insurance rates in the industry because we built the model with
you better.
We built the model with the insurance. So before we even opened the gym, we went to the insurance companies and said, hey, help us do this.
Smart.
Versus opening the gym and then going to the insurance company and say, hey, can you insure us? Right. So we built it with them. And so this all goes back into that efficiency model where we're opening gyms that have a long-term impact in the United States, that allow first-time entrepreneurs or experienced entrepreneurs to come in and open gyms that make a huge effect on our kids and our nation's history. Nation's future, not history, our nation's future.
Yeah, for real. Man, I love it so much. Joshua, this is incredible. What a great opportunity for business owners, but also for communities, for families, for kids. Like this one just it speaks to my heart, which is awesome. So thank you genuinely for your time and kind of pulling a last minute, let's figure it out.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on. Absolutely.
It's been so good. And friends, like if you're listening to this right now and you're like, man, this is this is it. This is legit. This is a good opportunity. I want to hear more. I want to see if it's a good fit. I want to see if my territory is available. I want to see if I qualify. Any of those things. All you have to do is type 2024 in the chat, whether you're watching it live right now and get a conversation started, or later on, type it in the comments. We'll see it. We'll reach out to you and kind of begin the process of what that's going to look like. And if this is a good fit, if this is the right fit for you, or at least you want to begin seeing if it might be the right fit, we'll connect you to Josh. We'll connect you to USA Ninja Challenge and continue the conversation from there. Again, your foot is on the gas. This is not signing your name to anything saying I am for sure going with USA Ninja. It's essentially saying, tell me more. So if you're ready to learn more, type 2024 in the comments and we'll get a conversation going with you today. Josh, again, seriously, brother, thank you so much. This has been
thank you, Jared. Yeah, thank you for having me on. I love doing this. And your production value is great. I love seeing brokers in the space, expressing themselves through content creation. It's the future. Great work with this.
It matters.
Really
I truly am. I'm in this space to help as many people as I possibly can pursue their goals of business ownership, their personal goals, their family goals. And I think a lot of that can happen through franchising when it's the right fit. And so it's deserving of the best content that you can possibly put out there. So friends, without further ado, I want to show you guys all a little, before we wrap up, I want to show you guys a little bit, a brief summary of the first annual National Ninja USA Ninja Challenge. I'm not sure what it's called.
We're working on the name.
That's right. Rolls off the tongue. But here it is, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Josh, see you later.
Super excited. Our first national competition is going to be a blast.